And the first thing about ACC is the sound. Absolutely superb. Coming from GT Sport, the combination of the sound and the force feedback is just superb. In this cockpit view, it feels amazing. Very, very different to the kind of bumper cam that I use in GT Sport. I'm going to start off here with a rolling start. In karting, I'm not very good at rolling starts, so I always seem to get caught napping. I'm okay at the grid starts, but not the rolling ones.
Green light, give it all you can.
Try and get past the Audi here early doors. So opponent difficulty is on 95%. So 100% is hardest difficulty. I've gone for 95 just to ease in a little bit before we go straight up to 100%. What's going to happen here? Turn 1.
Clear on the left.
Just slot in here. It's a bit like when you go to your local multi-storey car park. That and someone, you know, someone in the Range Rover slides up as you're waiting to reverse into your slot. And what I'm meant to be doing at this stage of the game is improving my safety rating. So you can see it's SA in the top right there. It's 70 at the moment. I should be getting it to about 80. Ideally, as we're going to come in pretty hot there. Wow. Okay. And we just hit the car again for good measure. So that's not going to be improving my safety rating. Whoops. Limiter. Yeah, I think I've set the aggressiveness of the cars quite high. So they're going to fight tooth and nail for everything. Yeah, talk about the force feedback. So my first impression is it is so much more detailed than GT Sport. I get so much more information, and it's not just through the wheel, because the Fanatec V3 pedals also work in ACC like they do in iRacing. And I really enjoy that feature. A lot of people don't talk about it. Or when they do, they say it's a gimmick, but I think it's a superb feature. It just gives you a little bit more information that you can use subconsciously to let you know what the car's doing, oversteering, understeering, hitting limiter, having some champagne, leftover champagne from New Year's Eve. Whoa. That was going to be interesting to downshift there. I think this level of hit limiter, this level of difficulty at the moment is just about okay for me. We'll see if we've got a bump up on the safety rating that lap. I'll be very surprised. It's gone green. What does green mean? Okay, still 70. No surprise really, we didn't gain anything on that lap. Brake here. Whoa. Maybe I'm not hitting the brakes hard enough. Going to be contact there again, I think. We changed my braking setting on the wheel. There we go. Which you can do on the Fanatec, you can change your braking force on the fly, which is a really cool feature. As someone who came from a set of T3PA Pro pedals, it's a very good set of pedals. So I was in first gear there, gonna have to give this position up. Hopefully you can hear me over the sound of the engines. Whoa!
Car on the right.
My man! Andy McDowell. She gonna hit me again like Groundhog Day. Here we go. Yeah, let's talk about some more stuff. So, value for money. I've said a lot, well, I've said many times that I think GT Sport is superb value for money. The amount of content you get, well, it's now a very, very cheap game. It's insane when you compare that to iRacing. I think ACC sits in the middle between GT Sport and iRacing. So at the moment it's about, I think about £10 on Steam, which is very cheap. But you don't get as much content for your money as you do in GT Sport. It essentially kind of replicates GT3, GT4. You don't get the wealth of cars and tracks you get in GT Sport. And obviously with iRacing you have to pay for every car, every track, and you have to pay a subscription. You have to pay for that in ACC. You can buy expansions, but you don't have to pay for subscriptions to play the game online. We will do a video again when we go online for the first time. Right, I can see my brake force there in the bottom right. Maybe I wasn't braking hard enough. I'll look back at that when I upload this on YouTube. Right, let's try and get a few positions now against a single player AI. In GT Sport, I haven't done one race against AI. I haven't done one single player race. It's been all about the online for me. I think with ACC, because of the theatre, because of the atmosphere, because of the increased difficulty to drive the cars, and it's a bit more of a challenge just getting the car around the track. I'm not minding racing against AI at this point. Whoa! Here's a McLaren ahead. Where's he going to brake?
We are halfway through. Not
Contact. Going to cost me second gear. So SA went up to 71. So the SA is creeping up, even though we're getting quite a bit of contacts, I'd say. It's this Lamborghini behind. What's he going to do? Braking quite early there, but actually didn't maintain that braking. Definitely got some interest behind from Mr. Mitchell. See if he can hold him off at Parabolica. And in terms of the handling of the car, so that corner there was a little bit like GT Sport, where you put the throttle down and the car just understeers. Whereas in iRacing, if you put the throttle down there, you will just slide the car around. In GT Sport, you're basically on rails, on an understeer rail. ACC, you have a little bit more movement, but that was quite similar to GT Sport.
Car on the left.
It's going to be interesting.
Clear on the left.
Giving their position back. Steadily dropping backwards here.
Car on the left.
Wonder what I'm doing wrong. Maybe my gear changes aren't quite where they should be, and I'm not slowing fast out enough, I reckon.
Clear on the left.
Absolutely smashing these curbs. I don't like to be smashed in ACC. I mean, those two corners, those curbs, whoops, don't really exist in GT Sport. That's going to be interesting. I think I need to find my biting point with the braking as well. I've kept the TCS and ABS on default. I'm sure I need to lower that down, which will make the braking more interesting. Shouldn't have been forced through there. Yeah, still kind of learning the game, learning how to drive the cars. But liking it so far. Now, in terms of the graphics, I'm playing this on a much smaller style screen. That doesn't make any sense. I'm playing it at a lower resolution, so it kind of fits on YouTube. Normally I play on a higher resolution on the full ultra wides. But even when I'm playing it at a high resolution, it doesn't quite look as good as GT Sport, although there is dynamic weather. You can see here at the clock at the top, I've set this dynamic weather quite aggressive. In fact, in this video, it might get dark, which would be pretty cool. I haven't seen any rain or stuff in this race, obviously, so far yet. But I'm not liking how we're losing so much time here. Let's try and sort out the second chicane. Here we go. That wasn't terrible. Not gaining. I think I could actually get on the power a lot earlier. I think. Sun's come out. Sun's up, guns out. Here comes a Ascari. You're not taking enough of that curb. In third gear this time. Really having to try harder to stay on the tail of that Porsche. Ooh. 1 day old champagne. Ooh. Eight tenths. I think it's the last lap as well.
Gaining on the car and accepted. Well done, mate. This is me, Russell West.
Let's see if we can get this done. Ah, not like that. Gone for a hop, skip and a jump there. Lost loads of time. There's no way we'll get this back, surely. Let's see. Never say never. I've got to stop clapping these curbs, haven't I? It's a huge slide. It's not quite going to get dark, I think. Yeah, just need a bit more pace to catch up with those cars ahead next time we head out in this combo. That was interesting. Got an Aston Martin for company now. 19th out of 29th in our first race. So far. Let's see what happens in the last corner. Looks like the Aston's got the lights on already. Fireworks, nice. That'd be nice and light. So our first race in ACC. I hope you enjoyed it. There we go. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to learn how to get better in ACC and drive these cars. I think I need to really slam on the brakes, get the car pointed towards the apex and then power out. Takes them a while to rev up again. Maybe I'm just in too high a gear, I'm not sure. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. Definitely more ACC to come. Otherwise, until the next one, see you next time. I have to end the video awkwardly.